Hey plant people, thank you so much for joining me. We're at my dining room table today because I thought we could do some plant chores together. Now, I've never done one of these videos before just because I feel like, I don't know if I'm a plant chores person because my method is just chaos. Like I just do whatever I feel like and kind of go with the wind and see what happens. But I've definitely got some things that I need to get accomplished today. Because I'm in this new area, hopefully the lighting looks okay. My boyfriend's not with me today to be my lighting engineer, so I'm just kind of winging it. And it looks okay on the viewfinder, but if I look like I'm like glowing because I'm so pale, just kind of disregard that. Also, I'm a little, I'm a little raspy because my allergies are driving me nuts. So I thought that I'd start with just a couple of fun updates. First of all, my Hoya RHM 14-1 is blooming. Look at those flowers. They are so cute and they smell so good. It's like a very light floral scent, which I just really love. And this is the one that put out that really giant leaf there at the top. So pretty much as soon as I put her on a trellis, she started blooming. So I guess she's happy with me right now. Also, this is my Alocasia Zebrina, I think. I think this is the Zebrina. I've had this for such a long time. I got this at Publix probably like 2 years ago. No, it's more than that. It had to have been maybe like 4 years ago. Yeah, it had to be at least 4 years ago. I got this at Publix and it's died all the way back for me twice. I used to actually have two of them because it came with two in a pot and one of them completely died. This one died all the way back and it was stuck with these really little leaves for an eternity, and it would do the Alocasia thing. So it would put out 3 leaves and one would die off and then it'd get a new one. And they never got any bigger than this. And she has just popped off for no reason. Like, look at her newest leaf, first of all. Like, this is huge. This is literally 4 times the size of the biggest leaf that I've ever had on her. And she's also putting out this new leaf that looks absolutely massive. So I don't know what her deal is. Like, I literally almost threw her away so many times. And the last time that I was totally fed up with her, I potted her up with my Alocasia Poly, and both of them just started doing super well for some reason. Honestly, like, I don't know what I did differently that made that happen. It could be the fertilizer. I started using the Foliage Pro, the SuperThrive Foliage Pro. So I don't know if she's just like super into that because she's doing well and the Alocasia Poly's doing well, which has been doing terrible for me forever. But I just cannot believe she's putting out this super massive leaf. I did just notice, do you have spider mites? So she has spider mites, which I just noticed. So another thing that we'll be doing today is pest trading her, I guess. And I don't think she's touching anyone in my bathroom, but I'll have to go check and just make sure that there aren't any other spider mites on any other plants out there. I bought some more of my Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew, so I need to mix up some of that. It's like the concentrate, so you have to mix it up yourself, which I've not done previously, but I just got a little spray bottle, so we're gonna do that today as well. I do seriously need to water my Hoyas today. That'll probably be one of my priorities, is to get those watered, because it has been a couple of weeks, which is honestly a little bit too long, but they just aren't like super wrinkly and gross yet. Like, they're just getting to the point where they're like a little bit wrinkly. So I'm probably gonna water those today. And then I need to clean my house, but we will not be doing that together. And then I just have a pile of miscellaneous things that I need to do. So one of the things that I need to do is I have this kind of like mixed little water prop of some different Hoyas. So I've got a microphylla. The roots look pretty good. I think this is microphylla. And then I've got Callistophylla, It's got some cutesy roots. New Guinea Ghost, which I thought was rotted. So I'm probably going to put this in with my other New Guinea Ghost since I'm doing Hoya stuff today anyways. And this one, I can't remember what this one is called, but this is the one that's been giving me nothing but issues. Every time I try to pot this up with every cutting, it just dies. So I'm not really holding out much hope for that one. But the Calistophylla looks good. So she'll go in with my other Calistophylla. I really hope this one does okay because I think these leaves are really, really nice. And then the New Guinea Ghost can go in with my New Guinea Ghost. You know what I really need is to invest in a potting mat if I plan on doing these types of videos, because I normally do all of my repotting and stuff in the garage just because I make such a giant mess and it's just easier to like go in and like sweep up and clean up after myself eventually. Or if I just don't feel like doing it, like it doesn't matter if it takes me a few days to clean up out there because I'm not hanging out there, you know. And then I have, this is, isn't that beautiful? Wow. I'm such a good point mom. Gorgeous. This is my Discoria. No, this is my Cissus discolor. And she's looking crusty AF. Like she has been upstairs in the neglect corner for an eternity. And this is the mother plant. Yeah, so she looks slightly better. Honestly, I was like, I don't know if I want to keep this plant, but I really love it when it starts growing. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do, because I've got some propagations in here, but only 2 of them. Yeah, I know this water is absolutely disgusting. Like, you know, it is what it is. It's in the neglect corner. Some of these have roots, so I may actually pot these up together. But I think this is just so big and the soil's really wet still. I think I'm gonna take her out and see what's going on with these like individual cuttings that were all potted up together and see if I can salvage some of these and maybe put them in a smaller pot. I do have, I'm wondering if I should put it with my Amazonica. Like maybe I could pot this together with my Cissus Amazonica. That's a thought. That is an option. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so you can see she's got a couple of leaves, but like most of her, she's mostly just these little sticks. But they do have growth on them. Like they have little growth points that are trying. I think she's able to still be saved. So I think that's what we'll do. And I am considering putting her with my Amazonica. That would maybe be a good idea. This is one of my variegated hibiscus that has croaked, so that needs to be thrown away. And then I have got, this is my Dieffenbachia Panther. This is one of my all-time favorite Dieffenbachias. Like I think this one is just so pretty. But she had root rot really badly from where I had repot her in that terrible soil. And I thought she was doing okay because she was still like growing really well and putting out new leaves. But she wasn't. She was totally rotted. So I just cut her off and decided to restart her. And I think her roots they're not like fantastic. But I think they're like good enough to go ahead and pot her up. Because she's really not that fussy. Like I've had to restart this plant a couple of times and she's always come back pretty well. She does have some dead leaves in here, which I'm just going to cut off really quickly because we do not need those. I should probably mute my phone. Yeah, but she's growing really well. She's got she's putting out a bunch of new leaves. And she's just so easygoing. Like she really honestly, like I said, even though she had root rot, she was still growing just fine. Like she did not care at all. And she has spider mites too. That means that whole thing probably has spider mites upstairs. So that, we're gonna put a pin in that, but she will need to be treated for spider mites once I pot her up. Put her over here, away from these plants. And then the last thing that I can currently think of that I need to do today is I need to get, this is my Syndapsis Jade Aurea. And I need to do something with this. So I was originally thinking like maybe I wanted to grow her on a plank, but I don't have a plank is the problem. I do have moss poles, so I'm thinking probably if I don't do a plank, I feel like a moss pole would be the next best option. And I really need to get her on one because she doesn't seem super happy trailing. Like I think she wants to be on a moss pole, so I need to figure that out. And then I need to water all of my Hoya, which I'm really not looking forward to. Like, I love collecting Hoya and collecting plants in general, but there are some days when you're just like, oh my gosh, like, this is a lot of watering to do in one day and I really need to do it. So we're gonna do that. But what do we wanna do first? Okay, I think what I wanna do first is I'm gonna throw away this plant that's dead and I wanna figure out what's going on with this Cissus discolor. And I think I want to pot it up with that Cissus Amazonica. But I'm wondering if that's a bad idea because the Amazonica is so much smaller and the discolor is like, once it starts growing, it just like totally takes over. So maybe that's not a good idea because it may kind of like choke that one out, you know? Well, I know for sure what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this part in my garage because this soil is just wet and disgusting. But I'm going to go and I'm going to take her out of this pot and see what I've got going on with these roots. So I will be BRB. Okay, hi, I'm back. She actually fared a lot better than I thought she was going to. Like definitely her old root ball like rotted off, but she has a lot of new growth on her roots. Like I'm gonna make just like the biggest mess today, I just know it. But we do have some nice healthy little white roots coming out of there, and I have several stems that were in pretty good condition. So I'm gonna put those with the ones in here that have roots. Which it looks like actually all of these have roots. I think the one that died is already dead. And this is my very, listen, I do all of my stuff in the garage. I don't have a potting mat. I don't have storage bins, which I probably should. I just store everything in bags in my garage, you know? So I've got this Amazon box full of soil. And I've got another Amazon box that is going to be my potting mat today. So here we go. And I've got just like a bunch of, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? I just literally don't know what I'm doing. I got a bunch of like just reused soil in here from plants that have croaked that were not like in super bad, like the soil wasn't in super bad condition. The plants just didn't make it. So I've just reused some of that and mixed it with some more like bark and perlite and stuff. So we are gonna put some of this in here. This plant is ultra thirsty too. So I made this chunkier than last time because it was like too dense last time, which is why she got so much root rot. But I do still want it to retain a fair amount of moisture because she likes to be moist. I had to water this. I was watering this when she was in good condition, like literally every other day, and she would not chill. She would not chill. All right, let's see what we got in here. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so beautiful. It's just a bunch of like naked sticks sticking out of this pot. Just trying to kind of like position. I know you can't really super see what I'm doing. I probably should move the camera up, but it's really not that interesting. You've seen someone repot a plant before. Okay, so she is all potted up. Now I know that this doesn't look very appealing right now because she is just a hot mess. But like I said, she does have a lot of new growth coming out from these stems. So I'm hoping that in a few weeks we'll start getting some new leaves coming off of her, because I did really love her when she was looking her best. She just kind of took a turn for the worst and I had to chop her up, and then she really didn't like that. So we'll see. Hopefully she will come back to us soon. Alrighty, next, I think I'm gonna go ahead and move on to getting the Synapsis aurea on a pole. And I'm gonna put a towel down just so that I don't get this like wet sphagnum moss everywhere while I make this pole. And the poles that I use, they're just like cheap plastic moss poles that I get off Amazon. But these have worked really well and I really liked them. And I like that they come with, like, they give you the little metal stakes to hold the plant into the pole, as well as some like horticulture Velcro or whatever, like the green Velcro strips that you can use to kind of like hold stuff down. So I've really liked these. This was my first foray into moss poles. And I'll link like these and the sphagnum moss and everything that I use. I get that off of Amazon as well, if anybody's interested. So we are going to make the pole first. And they come in just like this roll. I'm gonna get one out. Oh Lord. Just scared my dog. Granted, he is scared by everything. Okay. So it comes like this. It's like this flat, just roll of plastic. And I'm just gonna fold along these creases to kind of form it into that moss pole shape. Sometimes I'll even, depending on the plant, sometimes I'll cut these in half too, like if I don't need this whole giant moss pole, especially if the plant grows kind of slow or whatever. Maybe I just don't want to deal with this really tall moss pole at the time. But the Synapsis, this is already pretty long, and I feel like they grow reasonably quickly once they kind of get going. So just to prevent me from having to go back in a month and make another moss pole, I'm just gonna put the whole thing on here. I'm just not gonna fill it all the way up with moss, you know. So you can see all I did is I just folded it along the creases, and now I have this kind of, it's like a triangle shape. And it has these little tabs that just pop in and hold it together on the back. So I love these. It's really weird. I had like the hardest time. Got just like some moist sphagnum moss over here. I had the hardest time like trying to figure out what moss poles to get, because it seemed like the only ones that I could find on Amazon and stuff were like the ones that, I mean, they're cheap, but it looked like the super cheap, like they would come from Temu or something, like that type of moss poles. And then there were those, and then there were like really, really expensive ones. It was like $20 for like 3 or something. And I was like, that is not gonna cut it, sister. So I just took a chance with this kind that I found on Amazon, because I didn't even know at the time if I was like interested in really doing moss poles, because I'm not the type of person to have like all of my plants on moss poles. Like, it's a low priority for me having them on moss poles. The only ones that I have on moss poles are the ones that I want to see get really, really big and like the size of the leaves get larger. Like, I have my Philodendron Splendid and my Majestic on them, and then my Domesticum. And I have a few others. I've got like a Serpens that's small. I have the big one in my Monstera Albo for it to climb up eventually. But I'm not putting every single one of my plants on moss poles, because that's just too much time and effort and money to get them all on there. I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll just feel differently about it, and I'll go and put all of my plants on moss poles. You never know. Crazier things have happened. Okay, so I think this is like tall enough for now. So So I'm just gonna pop this closed. Oh Lord. This does kind of stress me out a little bit. I don't know why. It's like waiting on the toaster to finish, and like you're like waiting for the bread to pop up, and you're like, ooh. It's kind of like what this feels like for some reason. Popping these tabs in, jeez. Okay. It's not that difficult. I'm just dramatic. Okay, so I think that is good for now. And then I've got 2 pots. I think this is a 1 gallon. This is like a 5-inch maybe. Because I've got to fit the pole in there. But it's in this little tiny pot. So I feel like, I think this one will be fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. That will be fine. Okay, so I've got to get some dirt in this sucker. This is where I'm really going to make a mess. See, this is why am I holding it? I'm literally holding it with the holes like to the bottom, like it's not just going to fall out. I literally like doing this for a video. I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore. Okay. That is just gonna have to do. Nice. Move this dirty towel. Oh, this is what, partially I've not wanted to do these videos inside just because I make such a mess. I really need a potting mat. I'm just like being so chaotic. I guess I could do this over the box. That would make sense with it. We'll figure this out one day, guys. So I'm just gonna fill this up enough to kind of hold that pole in place. I may have put too much right here, so I'm gonna clear that out. Okay, that looks right. And then I'm gonna take this little thing out of here. I don't want to disturb this mix looks fine that it's in. And I don't want to really disturb the roots too much. So I'm just going to pull her out and stick her right in. Oh Lord. And she just totally fell apart. That's all it takes for me to fall apart too. It's okay. Her roots do look pretty good. They look pretty good. Okay, let me make sure that I'm putting this in the right way so that her aerial roots can attach to the moss pole. Grab just like a little piece of plant Velcro to hold her on here. And I don't like to actually like wrap it all the way around the pole. I just kind of stick it through the like one little section. And that should be fine. Okay. Sorry, all the lighting is getting kind of weird because it's kind of like, it's sunny today, but there are really big clouds in the sky, so it keeps changing, but. So she looks really cute now. I will need to water her. I'm gonna go put her in the sink. All right, so we are going to stick this guy in a pot now. This is the Dieffenbachia panther that has spider mites. So I need to pest treat that too. I just grabbed this. She grows pretty quickly once she gets started. So I just grabbed this. I think this is a 5-inch pot. So I just had sitting out in the garage. I'm gonna put a little bit of soil in here. Oh, and I do need to put some systemic on that syndapsis. Speaking of spider mites. Okay. It's pretty, yeah, her roots look really good. Okay, so she is all potted up and she looks so good. I love this plant so much. When she really starts growing and getting really tall, she is just so pretty. She's one of my, like I said, definitely my favorite Dieffenbachias. I think this is the only, yeah, this is the only Dieffenbachia I have in my collection. I do someday, I would be interested in getting the big bend variegated version, which I think is really beautiful. But this one I just really, really love. All right, well, we're getting through a lot. This, you know, honestly, I feel like making this video is making me more productive. Like, I'm not as sidetracked. I feel like I'm more focused on what I'm doing. So this may be good for me. But I have got a pencil here. This is my very high-tech equipment that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to just be making a hole and sticking these cuttings down with these other plants, these Hoya cuttings. So I'm going to do the Castile first. I need to water all of these today anyways. So. And I'm just going to make a little hole. Okay, so I've got her stuck back in there. We'll see what happens with that. She may or may not make it. I have not had the best luck with propagations. Okay, and then next is Miss New Guinea Ghost, who is going back in with the New Guinea Ghost. This was one of the first Hoyas that I ordered off of Etsy, the New Guinea Ghost, and I just did not have a good time with it. She died so fast, and she had a root rot. At that point, I didn't really know like what to look for, what the signs were of root rot. So honestly, I think I just let her go too long with not doing anything, and she probably could have been saved, but we'll see. She's got at least one really good root on here. So I'm gonna try to wiggle her down in here. Again, I'm just gonna put some of this cocoa core to kind of fill in. So they are all potted up together, and we'll see what happens. Last, this one, I feel like both of these are dead. I'm just gonna dump this out. Yep. These are both totally rotted. So, I think I'm just gonna pot these together because I don't feel like messing with my other pot of microphylla. So I'm just gonna put these two together. And we'll see what happens. Okay, there we go. So I've got both of these together. They are just gonna be friends because I feel like they may both die anyways. So we'll just let them be together during this difficult time. Okay, so we are in my kitchen at the sink. So I've got to water all these plants that we just potted up. And I'm gonna go ahead and make some fertilizer in my nasty old Brita pitcher. And I start with just like this Alaska fish fertilizer emulsion. Now this is at like Lowe's and Home Depot for sure. You can find this at, I ordered mine off Amazon this time just because I wasn't going to Home Depot anytime soon at that time. But you can find it at Home Depot too. So I'm just gonna pour some of this in here. I really like this one because, I mean, it smells terrible. So that's the downside, is it smells like disgusting ground up fish, which is what it is essentially. But the plants love it, and it can't burn your plants, which is kind of a relief because I have done that before. And then I've just got some silica in here, which, as I've said, I've been using for the plants with variegation, just to kind of help them not brown. And then this is what I've recently swapped to. So So this is the SuperThrive Foliage Pro. And I'm assuming this is what's making those alocasias do so well, because I feel like that's the only thing that I've changed. Oh shoot. And this bottle, this is just old fertilizer that I have in this bottle, but I'm just using the dropper from it. Okay, is that everything? Yes, I put those 3 in there. Sometimes I do water with the Great White, but I try to reserve that for my Anthurium and some of the plants that are a little more important to me, because it is a little bit expensive. So doesn't look delicious, but the plants love it. Okay, so we've got to water all of these guys. So I'm gonna do that first. My Calistophylla fell back out. I'm gonna have to fix him. I can fix him. The problem is its stem is so short. I went and grabbed some of these. I can't remember what these are called. They're like pruning pins or something. I'll link these in the description as well. But it has this little tab, and it'll like hold your Hoya cuttings and stuff down into the soil. So I need one of these to hold this Calistophylla down. Yeah, so see, you just stick it down. You stick it down around where the cutting is going into the soil, and it'll hold it in there. And honestly, I'm gonna put one of these on. Oh shoot! Yep, these are falling out too. There we go. So they are secured in there. Okay, now we're gonna water. Oh yeah, and I forgot to show y'all my Calistophylla's little peduncle. It actually has 2. It has this really tiny one at the end. But I can't tell. I mean, they look pretty good so far. Oh my gosh, why will you not focus? Focus on the thing that's right in front of you. Yeah, but look how cute. Hopefully this will bloom, and I'll have some bloom updates for y'all soon. Okay, so I've got my Captain Jack's dead bug concentrate in my little spray bottle, and we are gonna mix this up. I've not done this before. Let's see, where are the directions? It says half of a tablespoon per 16 ounces. So this goes up to 24 ounces, but I think I'm just gonna fill it up to the 16 ounce line, just so that I can have an accurate measurement. Let's make this open. Oh, I just realized the cup, the lid is a measurement. Okay, so we are all mixed up. And I got both of these from Walmart as well, the spray bottle and the pesticide concentrate. It's over there in the garden center, like near the planty stuff and the pots and stuff if you need some. So I'm gonna go through, and first of all, I'm gonna wipe all the leaves down with my Castile soap. I don't know if you can see this, it might be too bright. But this is just pure Castile soap. And again, like I'll link everything in the description. So if you're interested in any of the stuff that I use, it'll all be down there. But I use this to wipe all of the leaves down, and then I'll let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'll rinse that off. And once they dry a little bit, I'll spray it down with the pesticide. So we're gonna start that process now by wiping all the leaves down. Hello. Hello. Alrighty, so we are going to let that sit on there for just a little while because from what I understand, it kind of like suffocates whatever pests are actively on the leaves. So we're going to let that do its thing. In about like 10 minutes or so, I'm going to come back and I'm going to wash it all. So I will see y'all in a minute. All right, y'all, I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully this has been fun for y'all. Honestly, like as I'm recording it, it just feels very boring. I guess because it's kind of like mundane tasks that you have to do just for like the general welfare of your plants. So maybe, I don't know, I like watching these videos and I feel like when I'm watching them, it's not boring at all. It's kind of just like chill, and I just like seeing the way that other people do things. But when I'm filming it myself, I'm like, wow, like this is the most boring video that's ever been made. Just see what happens. I'll edit it and maybe I'll do another one if y'all like this kind of video in the future. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. If you made it this far, like, thank you. Really appreciate y'all for being here. If you like this video and you want to see more content like this from me, please like, please subscribe. It would mean so much to me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.